Hi, my name is Jennifer Lee Levitz. I'm the host of Unleash the Power of Age. We have a lovely guest today. Her name is Marilyn Arnold, and she is currently teaching a very popular, with good reason, yoga class at the Rose Baker Center. I won't babble anymore at you and just introduce Marilyn. Hello, Marilyn.
Hello, thanks so much for having me.
I went to your class for the first time this week, and I just want to say I found out why everyone's talking about this class. It was, first of all, it was so crowded you could barely get in there, really. And second of all, it was, I don't even have the words for it, comprehensive, careful, considerate, class where anybody could do yoga. Tell me how you do that.
Well, that's what we aim for, and as you know, we have a very diverse group of people who come.
Very.
And it's a lot of fun putting together a class that's going to meet the needs of a diverse group of people. And diverse, we have men, we have women. Most of us are 60s, 70s, 80s, but some of us have health conditions that, you know, we're trying to feel better about. And some of us are yoga teachers. There are some yoga teachers who come. So we have a very diverse group, and it's a lot of fun.
There were people in that class, my jaw dropped when I saw some of the people in that class. When you think of yoga, you think of some esoteric, you think of skinny life, supple, people who can do anything with their bodies, and you don't think of like me. But that's not who you have. You had all shapes and sizes and ability and disability. How did you come to this? How did you come to giving a class that meets so many needs with fun?
Well, you know, whenever you teach yoga, you're always teaching to whoever comes, to who comes to your class. And this is who shows up at this class, so that's who you're teaching to, you know, whoever comes. And as the teacher of one of my teachers once said, if you can breathe, you can do yoga.
So you, well, we'll be filling in some photographs that were taken. There was a celebration on Marilyn's birthday a month or so ago.
It wasn't my birthday.
It wasn't your birthday.
No.
They told me it was a birthday party and that it happened to be her 50th anniversary of teaching yoga.
It was that. It wasn't my birthday, but it was that. And I was very honored, very, very honored. Somebody asked me, one of the students asked me, how long have you been teaching yoga? And I said, 50 years. And they said, 15 years. And I said, no, 50. And they said, you deserve a cake. And then it turned into this party, which I was, you know, just very honored. Yeah.
Okay, so take me back 50 years.
Yeah. First yoga class, Cambridge Center for Adult Education, and loved it. I wish I could remember the teacher's name. She was fabulous. And she said, you know, I was in my early 20s then, and she said, gee, you know, maybe, actually my mid-20s. Anyway, she said, you should think about being a yoga teacher. So I found a program, wonderful program, and year-long program, and trained to teach yoga, and stayed at that school for about 3 years, and that was classical Indian yoga. And then I discovered there was a man from Japan, the late Master Masahiro Oki, who came to Boston and decided to have a center there. And I was fascinated with his teaching. So I spent 4 years becoming certified in this Okido or Zen yoga. And then I went on later to become an Iyengar teacher. But
Iyengar?
Iyengar, yeah. Yeah.
I studied Iyengar.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Do you know Jyoti?
No, I don't.
When I was at Smith, I took Iyengar with her.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay, so you went on to teach Iyengar. Sorry for the interruption.
I did. Well, I spent 2 years training with a woman named Hadassah Oppenheimer in Cambridge. I went to her class one day and she said, "You should be an Iyengar teacher." And she offered to train me. And so I came for 2 years. And Hadassah, died about 7 years ago. And she was 103 and had taught yoga to within a few months of when she died. She was really remarkable, remarkable teacher. Wow. And I was, very lucky to be able to study with her for a couple of years. And, but I never did the actual certification because I would have had to go to India, and I had children, and I had this and that. But I do bring that into my classes for sure.
Do you? That's why it seemed familiar to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah.
Do you teach teachers?
Not formally, but over the years I've often had usually younger women who say, "Can I come to your classes and see how you do this?" And so that's always, maybe 4 or 5 people over the years.
Okay.
So I enjoy, doing that, but it's not something I do formally.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I want to switch a little bit because usually when I talk on the show with somebody, we like to know you're on Cape Ann. You're living on Cape Ann.
That's right.
And we'd like to just know a little bit what you're comfortable with telling us about your life. I mean, how did you come to Cape Ann, and what are you doing here besides yoga?
Yeah, well, my husband and I moved here about 5 years ago, and we both loved Cape Ann. We had friends here, and we would come up here and, just enjoy being with them, going to their wild parties, and decided it's so beautiful here. And it's really, what could be a better place to be than Cape Ann? So we decided, that we wanted to move here, and that's what we did. And my husband still works full-time. But I'm teaching yoga and Qigong. I teach online, and I teach at the Rose Baker Center. And that's what I do.
And that's what you do.
Yeah.
And you told me you have officially retired, and I'm going to ask you what you retired from, if you would.
Sure. I retired from a career in public health research. I was on the faculty at the Boston University School of Public Health, and have done research with a number of different groups over the years. Spent some time down in Bethesda working for the National Cancer Institute. That was long ago. But my career has mainly been in cancer research and osteoporosis research.
That's so. How lucky are we to have a teacher at Rose Baker who can not only teach yoga but knows how to bring the health concerns element in as part of what she's teaching and not teaching. There are some things you don't do.
That's right. That's right, for older students. Here's a statistic. Let me throw it at you, because that's what I did for a long time. Okay.
We're ready.
By the time women are age 65 and up, 80% of us have got low bone mineral density. 80%. It's like 20, I think it's 27% have full-blown osteoporosis, and the other 53 have got just osteopenia. So, and for men are luckier. They do get osteoporosis and low bone mineral density, but it happens a little later in life for them. But for women, that's 80%. So there's now research that shows that yoga is really good for osteoporosis, and it's actually Iyengar style yoga that was done in these studies. And Lauren Fishman, who is a teacher of mine from the Columbia Medical School in New York City. So we do those poses that help to build the bone, and in a way that helps to build the bone. And there are all kinds of modifications too. It's not just one there are many possible ways to do these poses. And there are some poses that you really should be very careful about if you happen to have low bone mineral density, such as forward flexion, which is rounding the spine forward. You don't want to do that. That's the main one that we avoid. So we don't do that. I always have everybody hinging from the hips when you bend forward. So you're extending your spine and going forward, but you're not rounding it. Because when you round your spine, and this was a study at the Mayo Clinic, they found that you put a lot of pressure on the front part of the vertebra, and that's where they start to crack and break, and you can get a little compression fracture, which you don't want to have.
You don't.
Yeah, and you start rounding over like that. And so that's an example of the kind of thing that I just totally avoid. Even though, and I tell people, if you've had a bone mineral density test and you know that your spine is okay, that it's not, you don't have low bone mineral density in your spine, you can round, but let's be careful, because 80% of people shouldn't be at 65 plus.
I had a bone mineral density test, and they didn't tell me anything about my results. Would I assume that means I'm okay?
I would ask to get those results.
I guess
Absolutely.
I guess I
and
better.
maybe you are. Yeah, maybe you are.
Maybe I am.
But I think that they should tell you. They should tell you you're okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Am I okay?
I'm sure you're okay. We also don't do headstands and we don't do inverted poses.
Well, there were people who only sat in the chairs, who did not even do all the poses, or did a minimal sitting in chair. There was a lot of the activity that was everybody was in the chair, and then there were poses and movements where maybe a third of the people got down on mats, and then a third of the people did the same things in the chair, and it was fun. It's fun the whole time. There's some lovely music. You said something to me about the music.
Right. In the past, I haven't had music. I was, purist, quiet, silence. But, there's a little ambient noise in the cafeteria.
A little ambient noise, yeah.
And so I thought, well, let me try some music, just instrumental, Beatles things, various things like that. And people loved it. And so I wasn't going to do it one day. And I said, where's the music? So now I have the music every time. It's
nice. And you mentioned that you incorporate some Qigong.
Yes, we do some Qigong, usually towards the beginning of class. And and for people who don't know what that is, it's a Chinese, an ancient Chinese medicine movement. And it's very flowing, very calming. It's kind of like Tai Chi. And actually, Tai Chi is a form of Qigong. But unlike Tai Chi, which I think is wonderful, it's fabulous for seniors especially, but unlike Tai Chi where you often have to learn some foot movements along with the arm movements, Qigong generally, there's some foot, generally it's all flowing with the arms, moving the upper body, which is great because my folks who stay in the chairs can do it.
Can do all of it.
Seated, easily, yeah.
No, I found that walking in for my first class, I was able to do 90%. I have had some other classes in other forms, and I'm not brand new to the philosophy and the idea, but even so, I walked in and could do it. We have some time left. What should we talk about?
Well, we could talk about the wonderful people that come to the class, I guess we already talked about that a little bit, in that they're very diverse and courageous. I mean, it takes a certain amount of courage to come and say, well, I'm going to try this class. I don't know what it's going to be like. Well, you know, I mean, you came for the first time.
I came and I felt welcomed and I felt like I could do everything, but that I'm not a beginner. But that anybody, I think anybody could come in there and be able to take the class. I think so. It's I do have to talk to about the people who were in the class. It's a good 20%, maybe 25% men, and they're very different. And there are a couple of people in that class that I said this already, did I? That my jaw dropped when I saw them. They're guys that I would not expect to find in a yoga class. I would expect to see them maybe working out, maybe calisthenics, maybe at a gym, maybe on a treadmill, maybe regular guy stuff. And they were right there on their mats doing this sun salute. Is it salute?
Sun salutation.
The salutation to the sun.
Yep.
So the class is for anybody, everybody. And I hope that you will consider coming to, it's not even, well, maybe if I see it, I could decide. No, you come and you sit in the class and you want to be doing it. It looks like something that's good for you and you want to do it. It's all I don't know how else to describe it, Marilyn.
Well,
I really
think
don't.
When people leave, people come up and say to me, oh, I feel so much better. I feel good. And it's, we've moved, we've got we do breathing, we got, everything flowing. We've done Qigong, we've made our meridians, the Qi move through our meridians. We've laughed, we've made noise and shaking our bodies around. We have some fun. But I also want to say there's the Monday class and then there's the Wednesday class. And the Wednesday class, in none of my classes do you need to go onto the floor, because I think that's the biggest barrier, and that's why I decided everything's no floor. Although people now do, more and more people do. After a while, it's like, oh, I'll try that. But the Wednesday class, I don't do any floor work at all, and it's much more chair-based than the Monday class. I would say the Wednesday class is, I don't know, it's probably 60% in the chairs, and then the other 40% we're, people are holding the chairs, some people are holding the chairs. We really use those chairs as a prop, and in fact, we use 2 chairs sometimes. So the Wednesday class, but the Wednesday class you do have to reserve in advance, because I can only take 12. And it's in a smaller space. I think it used to be called the yoga room. And So you just have to call in and say, put me on the list for the
I
class.
didn't even know you had 2 classes. It's a secret. They're keeping this secret.
That one just started in June.
Ah,
so
that's
it's
why.
only been a couple of
Well,
months.
there should be, I think you're going to have a 3rd class. I hope you have time for it because I really would like to know more about you, Marilyn, because you're an interesting person. I think that you mentioned you have children.
I do. They're all grown up.
Well,
Yeah.
is there anything you would like to say about them? If not, we understand.
They're great. They don't live in the area. They're a ways away. My grandson is 2 hours away.
Oh,
It's not too bad. Yeah.
no, 2 hours is not.
Yes, I
often
can't. And
compared to-
another one's in Texas, and that's pretty far away. But yeah, it's great.
And do you have any other hobbies or any other interests?
Well, I love to swim, and I like to garden, and I do a lot of qigong and yoga, and maybe I'll do a little more writing about it, or looking now for more opportunities, because I have a lot that I would like to be able to do and to give.
Well, you do. You have a tremendous amount. My brain is just going trying to think of all the things that we could do with you here on Cape Ann, and in particular at the Rose Baker Center. I know there are. Do you ever give lectures? Do you ever talk?
Yeah, I have done that in the past. I've done that at the Jenks Center in Winchester. I sat on a panel, and then I also did a yoga for healthy aging. Because we have all this research. It's good for your blood pressure. It's good for your heart. It's good for your brain. The anatomy of your brain. I mean, it makes your brain thicker, which is good in certain places. It's good for your bones. It's good for inflammation. It's good for, I could go on and on. There's so many things that it's good for, and it helps us to enjoy a longer health span. There's lifespan, and then there's health span, right? And so we all want to be healthy. And that's one of the wonderful things about teaching older adults like myself, is that they just want to feel better. They want to feel good, and we have the same goal. We want to have healthy, we want to be healthy and feel good.
I would like to add that part of what was so wonderful about the class that I was in on Monday was that it was a class of peers. And there's all kinds of other dimensions going on in there. Well, if she can do it, I can do it. Or if he can do it, I certainly can do it. If they can be here, gee, I wonder if my neighbor would come. And maybe my sister would come. And maybe I could finally get my husband to move. He won't go to the gym, he won't do other things, but maybe he would be okay coming and sitting in a chair and getting his exercise. There's something about the community, the communal aspect, the doing it together, that adds dimension to this already wonderful activity and practice.
That's right, and it is a great group of people. I don't know, what can I say about them? There's a group that after the class they play Bananagram, which is like Scrabble, right?
Right.
There's a couple weeks ago, one of the people in the class brought this great big brown bag, and she had brought apples from her tree in the backyard. And people share in other ways, and it's nice. You get a feeling of community, and if somebody comes in who's new, people are going to welcome you and say, "Hey,
Absolutely.
this is fun." Yeah. Yeah.
We're just about out of time for the show. I wonder if you would, is there anything else that you would like to make sure that people know about you or about yoga in general, about the class, about Rose Baker? I'm always babbling away about Rose Baker, about the center, about how wonderful it is for in every way as a place to be. So many older Americans, not everybody, but so many are alone or afraid to go out, to try things, to do things, for many reasons. And this kind of class, Marilyn's class, and the activity in this class, not only is it obviously good for us, for the participants, but it goes beyond that. It just goes beyond that. To think that this is the kind of activity that's right in our town, available for all of us, for any of us, and that we have a world-class teacher with credentials that you don't find anywhere, let alone everywhere. And I would like to say, Marilyn, I'm so happy that you're with us, and look forward to your class and to just getting to know you. I'm very happy to meet you and hope to know you better. Is there anything else you would like to say?
Well, I just say thank you for all that you're saying, and I hope people will take the invitation to come, because as I like to say to my students, and you probably heard me say it, I say it every class, I look at the class and say, you are your own best yoga teacher. And what I mean by that is, what part of what we're doing in the class is, getting to know our bodies. We're all so in our heads, we're on our phones. Life is, challenging, even for us retirees, right? And so, see how your body feels. And I'll often give 2 or 3 different options for a pose. And you pick the one that works for you. And it is very rewarding to see people, picking the pose that works for them. And somebody may be just doing a pose that looks like, wow, they're not doing much there, but their spine is lengthened and their head is right in line with their spine. They're doing good things for their body. So I guess, don't hesitate to come because you feel like, maybe I couldn't do yoga. It's for everybody.
It is. Hey, if I can do it, you can do it. Thank you, Marilyn. This has been a real treat, and I look forward to more.
Thank you. Thank you. My pleasure.